Hey everyone, Ed from Paranormal Inc. Ohio here, doing a pop-up podcast episode about the unexplained occurrences of the paranormal. My wife and I are sitting here, and as you all know, my wife does not deal with the dead. Her aspect is her business. She deals with, jewelry and the living, and my business is all about the dead. So we were sitting here, and we got to thinking, or we was watching something on TV, and my wife...
That he's going to be doing a podcast on.
Yes, I'm very soon going to be doing it, and it is incredible, this story that I'm going to tell. And she asked me a question. I'm going to have her ask it again, and we're going to just start the discussion like that.
So, we were, like he said, watching the show, and he was looking it up, and he had made a comment about how if someone has had this trauma effect that has happened to them, that when they die, they could be in limbo, and so that they could go back to the location where all their trauma was originally at. And I said that I really didn't believe that someone who may unfortunately take their lives due to the traumatic actions that took place, especially as to what we were just watching, and for the past 2 hours we were watching this.
It was more than like 3 hours.
Yeah, and seeing these horrible things that these kids and teenagers had to endure in their life. I don't see if one was to commit suicide, and we're going to say Oregon because that's where one of them was, would go back to this horrible location that transpired all these bad things to them.
So, and it's a valid question. It really is. And I told her the only way I can answer this is by the things I have learned and the things I've seen and read. And you got to put it in different aspects. In Christianity and Catholicism, if you take your own life, you go straight to hell. It's an unforgivable sin, and you burn in hell. I don't necessarily believe that in my heart of hearts. I am a Christian, but I don't believe that. I believe that some people just, their mental state is so bad, they just can't do it. And that mental state becomes an enemy to yourself, and it eventually takes you. But I believe that they could possibly be set in limbo, some type of purgatory. And I believe if, like, these kids went through a lot of bad things.
Oh, it's horrible.
It was just absolutely horrible.
Not only in the location that they were in, but the fact that their own family, who at the end of the day you should be able to lean on, and your mom and
Right.
your dad should be the ones that's always going to fight for you no matter what.
Oh yeah.
Were the ones that just left them there.
Yeah, just took them. And here's the thing
abandoned them.
Here's the thing is they didn't even take them there. They hired people to come kidnap them,
yeah,
and take them to this place. And just kind of forgot about them. And a lot of the parents are hiding on the fact that, well, we didn't know it was happening. Yeah, 50-50 chance they didn't. 50-50 chance they did know it was happening.
But their kids still told them about
it. And then they wouldn't believe it. But, I mean, okay, again.
These were troubled kids.
Right.
But
here's the thing. We were troubled kids.
Yes.
And we went to an alternative school. It wasn't anything like what we just watched, thank God.
No.
But if I was to tell my parents that this stuff was happening at this school we went to, they would not believe me.
Oh, my mom would have. She had to wipe the floor with them.
I believe that too.
Yeah, wholeheartedly.
My mother-in-law is a very, very...
Yeah, don't mess with her.
Yeah, don't mess with her.
And don't mess with her daughter.
Exactly.
She'll take you out. But, people always have said about the school that we went to. I mean, yeah, it was bad. I mean, you got kids coming from juvenile prisons. And now this is totally different from a juvenile delinquent center. Okay, this is a juvenile prison that kids would be coming in from, or from other schools, because they've been thrown out and they can't go anywhere else. This was your last stop to, nowhere. Just nobody else wanted
Right,
you.
nobody wanted you, and that was it. So you either go to this school or you're done.
And so to me, the school that we went to, which shout out to Kiefer Alternative Center, the old Kiefer Alternative Center, not this new one that they got going now. But it was probably one of the best schools that I have ever in my life went to.
Oh, hands down.
And people, once we got into like 18 years old and you're learning how to do resumes, they're like, don't put that you went to Kiefer on
I
your
always
resume.
put Kiefer on my resume.
I always put that I went there because I was proud that I went there. The teachers were amazing. The school was amazing. But if you went to that aspect, and but these ones were literally picked up from their homes, bound, gagged, transported, had no idea, it was in the middle of nowhere, and you wasn't allowed to go home. You couldn't be on the telephone without somebody listening. You weren't allowed to say anything bad about the school, etc., etc., etc.
It was literally
ours. We went home at the end of the day, so totally different. But
this place was literally that these kids went to was a prison. They read over your letters.
Yeah.
They listened to your phone calls.
It was worse than a prison.
It was terrible. They tormented these kids. We're getting way off topic. Okay, so the question at hand was, if someone has committed suicide, how could they just go to the spot that traumatized them? And this is what I was telling her.
Well, the reason that we got on this topic is because when he was doing more research on it, it said that the place was extremely haunted now. Mm-hmm. And I said, how can it be haunted by these kids when no kid actually died in that facility? The people even stated, I don't know how any of us made it out of here alive without none of us dying or committing suicide here. And so what got us on that topic is when he was doing the research, how now all of a sudden this place is haunted. Again, I like the living, he likes the dead. So I always question him. I'm not going to say I'm a non-believer, because I have seen things that has made me go, say what? You're never going to get me to believe in aliens and Bigfoot. I'm going to put that out there right now. But I do believe that we do not walk here by ourselves.
No.
I do believe there is spirits that are around, or ghosts, or whatever you want to say. But I also believe that we walk around with quote unquote angels as well. Those people that come into your life that are lessons and blessings, all in the same thing, that kind of look out for you. But I don't understand how this place that has had none of those kids die because they were brutally beaten or because they killed themselves there, or whatever the case may be, how this facility is now quote unquote haunted just because bad things happen. So he said that when it could be that when some of these people have killed themselves, that their spirits have now went back to this place because it was like what a horrible...
It was like a horrible thing that happened to them. It traumatized them so bad that it extended into their adult life, that they obsessed over it, which I get that. I'm not saying it's a bad thing. These people they needed help. They were through a thing like that. And when they take their own lives, you take your life, it's a dramatic thing. You're stopping many things that are supposed to happen. In Christianity, your life is God's plan. And there is a plan that is drawn out, a map that everything is supposed to happen. And when you stop that by committing suicide, you stop the flow of traffic. It almost becomes like a traffic jam. Okay. Your body just doesn't, your soul, it just doesn't understand. Only thing that it knows is that it's hurting. And it knows what it was hurting from before. And that was where all the torment happened. So I believe that the spirit can go back to that place to haunt that place because there's unfinished business. They weren't able to get these people arrested. They weren't able to get these people to go to prison. These people just walk free, you know? So, and I was telling her, and it's like, she said she didn't understand how a spirit can go to one place if it died in another place.
Yeah.
So I told her, I said, well, think about it this way. You have a soldier who passes away overseas. And then a couple months later, they're haunting their house. It's almost like the spirit is attracted, wants to be home, because that is what it remembers as good. It doesn't want to stay in the place that is bad. The soldier didn't kill themselves, they were killed, they were murdered there. Okay? So, I mean, I really don't know how else to explain it. Like I said, I can only go by what I've learned, and what I've seen, and what I've heard, and what I've read.
I guess I just don't understand on the aspect of how you can... Okay, so I've heard you state many times before that, and I don't know the actual terminology of it, but I've heard you state many times before where a spirit will be in one location and just relive that day over and over again. What's that called?
That is called a residual haunting.
Okay, so they just relive that day over and over and over again. And, you know, a lot of you have said, you know, that some of these spirits or ghosts just don't understand that they are dead.
Correct.
And so, like, how is it that some can know that they're dead, but yet others just have no idea that they're dead and they're just living their days as is?
The best way I can put it is when a lot of people, that when they're dying, they don't want to come to terms with it. They don't want to accept the fact that they're dying.
Right, they want to stay in denial.
They want to stay in denial. They want to live and live and live, and they don't think they're going to die. They don't think it's going to happen to them. And when they pass away, the spirit just doesn't know. They were so much in denial that they don't want to die, and they didn't want to die, that the spirit just doesn't know. And so, in order for it to not move on to the next step, it just keeps reliving its life. Like, every day, let's see... Like, my dad had a ritual every day before he went to work. He got up 6 o'clock on the dot. Came downstairs. He drank a glass of milk. Ate a bowl of cereal. By 6:20, he was out the door. Every single day. And he watched SportsCenter while he did that. Every single day. So, my dad could pass. And my dad's one of them ones that doesn't want to die. He could pass and just not know it. And just continuously live his life. A residual haunting, the spirit doesn't even know that they're dead, that everything's different. Like, if you moved into a new house and you keep hearing the same thing every day, like you hear a door shut at the same time every day.
So kind of like what happened on Beetlejuice.
Yes. It's almost, they don't know that they're dead.
Because they didn't know they were dead.
They didn't know that they're dead. And they're still living their life. Now, sometimes they couldn't understand why people were moving into their house because they just didn't know they were dead. Right, and like their paths cross. Like, a lot of times the spirit doesn't even know that people moved in because they're so amped and trapped in their head that they're not dead. And then we'll hear them, right? We're alive. We'll hear them and we'll be like, what was that? And sometimes they can hear us and they'll do the same thing. They'll go, oh, shit, what was that? So it's almost like two worlds colliding at once. And then once you get a spirit to actually communicate with you and you get it to understand, because I've seen this, I've witnessed it. When a spirit realizes they're dead and they can move on, they do. They move on.
Where do they move to?
Wherever they go.
So you mean like
to the next step,
hell,
heaven or hell, or
okay, I got you.
Paradise, purgatory, whatever you want to call it.
So at that point, they'll be out of limbo, and they're just going to go wherever it is. If they was good, they going to go up, and if they was bad, they going to go down.
And the two big things that keep spirits here, that they don't know they're dead, is a tragic murder or suicide. That's just in my in everything that I've read and heard and learned, because it was such a traumatic experience that it just stained that area. Okay? And it just like keeps the spirit here. Now, I can't tell you for sure that they can move wherever they want to go willy-nilly.
And see, that's just where I think. I mean, I just don't see where, if a soldier has passed in a war overseas, how is the soldier... Now, I could see if the soldier was haunting, like, if he ended up being cremated, or his body was in the home, or even if, they go out to the cemetery and they put, flowers on the grave, and all of a sudden they, I just don't see how a soldier overseas can pass, or anybody. I'm not just saying just the military. I mean, anybody, can travel all the way back to their house. I mean...
Well, it's like I told you before. I mean, they've passed away. They're in the spirit world.
Right.
They can go wherever they want. And I think it's just because every death is different.
So you think when we die and we're in limbo, that we still have our withals? Like, we know what our past was and our life was, and we know how to travel to get places. I mean, it's not like they can just, and I'm not saying this to be funny, it's not like they can just go to Delta and say, hey, put me in first class.
I mean, yeah, but like, yes and no, because there's some spirits, like I just said, just don't know they're dead.
Mm-hmm.
And they're living.
I'm talking about the ones that do know they're dead, that come back home.
Yeah, I do. I believe that, just my personal belief. I'm not saying this is 100% correct. Mm-hmm. So before I get destroyed in the comments, I'm not 100% correct on this, but I do believe, yes, if you have died, you died, and you're stuck in limbo, that it's because limbo is a part of a punishment, I think, and a part of your punishment would be free roam of the world, and you just can't do anything. You could try to communicate, and maybe they'll hear you.
So do you think that people that are in limbo are only because they're being punished, and they don't, or they don't know they're dead? So, like, say I was to die, and I, being a religion, say I'm not going to go to heaven and I'm not going to go to hell, but if my religion just believes that, we're going to be reborn into another life, do you feel as though, like, somebody like me, I'm a Buddhist, would just go on to my next life? Do you feel as though that I would go to hell, go to
now that,
or go into limbo? Because
that is a loaded question, and that question alone by itself has probably caused wars throughout time itself.
Okay,
but
let me reword it.
No, you're perfectly fine. I completely understand what you were saying, and I think they will too.
Uh-huh.
I cannot definitively say
I'm just
what's
saying.
right and what's wrong.
Right.
And as a Christian, I know as a Christian it says that you are not supposed to worship other idols besides God and Christ. And if you do, you go to hell. It's a lot of Old Testament too. In the Old Testament, God was like, I hate to say this, but he was like a mobster. He was the mob. You either did what he said or you was going to get got. And
your numbers just went down.
Oh, I know. I don't, and again, I love my God and
Ed is very religious.
And Jesus.
He lives his life that way.
And
so don't nobody get upset.
Well, and it's like God knows my sense of humor.
Yeah.
I believe that I could die right now and go to him in rags, and he will wrap his arms around me.
Oh, yeah.
And will love me, and I'll see my mother again and all my loved ones again. But in the Old Testament, and all you true Christians out there that have read the Old Testament, you got to know that God was kind of like Tony Soprano in the way of the mafia thing, but not all the other stuff. I mean, that was a bad way to put it. But God was very... You followed his rules, or if...
I'm starting to feel like you're about to go someplace more.
Yeah, dude, like, I'm already getting hot. But God had a set of rules, and you followed those rules.
Correct.
You went to heaven. You was rewarded with heaven. If you didn't follow those rules, then...
You was about to get
toasted
going like a marshmallow.
You was going to hell. Because you got to remember, God's most beautiful and beloved angel was Lucifer.
Mm-hmm.
And Lucifer said, I don't need you, and I'm going to take your throne. And God damned him to hell, to be the leader of hell. So if God's going to do that to his most loved,
he would do it to
he would, and I'm not saying God's mean. God has done many things for me, and I know God will do many more things for me. And I love God, and I love Christ. I do. I'm just, and here's the thing. It also says in the Bible not to judge. So
don't judge, or you're not being a good Christian. That's what he's saying right now.
Pretty much. Like, I'll have my judgment day where I have to face God himself, and I will have to, and again, I will get on my knees, I will bow to him, and whatever happens, happens. But we're getting off topic again.
Can we stay off topic for one more second?
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm just saying, like, now after you've made that comment, you know how, like, I'm a hustler all day, every day? So now I want to, like, design your own shirts that says, like, Paranormal England, the back of it, with Tony Soprano's face. It says, Got God.
No, or like Godfather, but God is all capital letters and Father's all small letters.
If you would like one of those, please contact him.
We'll make it happen for you. But, and to answer your question, I don't want to. Here's the thing.
Okay, let me reword it. Okay. So, do you feel as though that we have the option of going and choosing if we want to go to heaven, hell, or if we wanted to just stay in limbo? The reason why I'm asking this is for someone who, again, I believe that we take this life that we are in right now, and that we are learning everything that we need to learn right now, because we are taking everything that we learn now, and in our next life we are going to incorporate that. So as long as I do good in this life, I'm going to have a good next life. If I was to do bad in this life, well, then I don't think that my next life is going to be too awfully good, okay? But, so, with someone like me who is a Buddhist, if, I didn't feel as though, like, I was going to heaven, or if I was going to hell, if I would just be able to stay in limbo. I mean, you got people traveling and being able to go wherever they want because they're in limbo.
Well, the thing is, you said, do you have a decision if you can go to heaven or hell or stay in limbo? You do. It's just how you live your life.
Correct. That's a good answer.
So how you live your life is like you're pretty much choosing. Again, I'm not a Bible thumper, so I don't want to sit here and be one-sided, because I believe everybody has a voice. Everybody has the right to think on their own, and I do not down anyone.
Right.
I'm friends with all walks of life. I'm friends with Satanists. I'm friends with Christians. I'm friends with all sorts of people.
Mobsters.
No, I'm not friends with mobsters. But I believe everybody has a voice. Now, if you want to come talk to me about God, 100% all day, I'll talk to you about God.
Yes, 100%. He can go for hours.
I can. It's pretty annoying to some people. But do I believe that you're going to go to hell for being a Buddhist? No, I don't believe you're going to go to hell for being a Buddhist, because my God loves everyone. Like I said, a lot of God was Old Testament. The New Testament, after Christ came, God kind of mellowed out a lot. No, I don't believe. You can ask for forgiveness, and if you're truly repentant of your sins, God will wash away everything that you have done that is bad, and sinful. Now, that doesn't mean go off, rob banks, kill people, and just be like, oh, my bad, I'm sorry, God, and you're going to get a get out of hell free card. No, that's not how it works. You have to be completely and utterly true to what you're repenting on. Now, you talked about being reborn as something else. I'm kind of torn between that, because do I think I'm going to die and be reborn? No. I think once I'm dead, my spirit, my soul either ascends or descends or doesn't go anywhere. Mm-hmm. So I am not a believer in reincarnation.
I wholeheartedly believe in
and I know that you are, and I back you 110%.
Oh yeah.
But again, I can't sit here and definitively tell you who's right and who's wrong.
Oh yeah, everybody's gonna have their own things about that. Just like, you know, this all got started just because of, you know, why do spirits go to certain places, or, you know, like I've never heard where people have, okay, so like when you do your ghost huntings, okay, mm-hmm. and you know, you come back and I listen to him going through all of this, you know, information that he got, and, you know, the videos and the recordings and the listening devices and all that other stuff that he has. And I'll hear him, and like, I've never heard you come back and say, oh, you know, we went to this place and they were telling me that Walter haunts this location. Okay, well, who's Walter? Nobody knows. There's no history of Walter and why Walter is haunting this location. It's always got some type of, you know, backstory with
some type of attachment to that area.
Yeah. Okay, so again, this is why I said I don't understand why these kids who are now adults would have died, and it went all the way back states away to those locations.
Again, I can't be for sure.
Well, you're just supposed to know everything.
Well, I know, right?
God.
But I don't.
I'm married to a ghost investigator. You're supposed to know it all.
Well, I mean, that's the thing. Nobody knows it all. You can be the most seasoned paranormal investigator and not know anything.
No, I mean, I'm just kidding.
Oh, no, I know you're kidding, but I'm just saying it's difficult to say. But as I've learned and what I've read and what I've seen, I believe that a spirit can travel. Yes.
I wonder where my spirit would travel to. I've had a lot of bad things.
I have too.
Probably back to the ICU unit, because I think that was the worst. Yeah. You're gonna find me at OR3.
I think mine. I don't know, man. There's been a lot of near-death experiences for me. I'm
gonna say the train. You're gonna haunt the train tracks.
No, I don't think it'd be the train. The train wasn't. I mean, it was crazy. Like, I seriously got hit by a train.
He got hit by a train and lived to tell about it.
Yeah, like, walked away from it.
Car was screwed up. He was messed up a little bit, but
my car was just destroyed. But no, let's not get into that. The hows and, you know, but no, I don't think it would be the train. I think the most
the day of the OR where I came bashing through the doors.
Yeah.
Because
that was the day of my first amputation.
Yeah, that was the day that they.
That was the day that
your first rites.
Yeah.
And stuff.
Because I was
it was all the way through your body.
Yeah, the infection had spread to my blood and to my organs, and it had just ripped. The doctor literally came inside and said, "Get your affairs in order."
Yeah.
You know, what type of rites do you want? I was like, "Holy crap!" You know, and I was like going to surgery to get all this infected bone taken out and parts of my feet.
With his organs already being damaged and not working as they should because of how bad the blood infection had went through his entire body. I mean, yeah, getting hit by the train, you didn't really, like get hurt on that.
No.
Or when the steel coils came down, yes, you got really hurt, but it wasn't life-threatening.
But no, laying in that bed and feeling the way I felt and how I felt horrible. You could ask her. I felt horrible. And it was just because that infection was ripping me apart inside. And when they was taking me down to the operating room, I was terrified.
Yeah.
I was shaking when I kissed her. Like I was scared out of my mind I wasn't going to wake up. And I think I would go back to that. Yeah.
I think that would be probably one of your most traumatic. Well, we'll both be in ORs. We'll just be in different hospitals.
Look, we met at our bad kids school.
Yeah.
We got married, and now we're going to, meet again at our ORs.
I'm totally messing with nurses and doctors while I'm in.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah. I'm like, oh, you thought you laid out that scalpel? You didn't.
You did, duh. Boo. So is there anything else?
No, I think that was pretty much our debate on it.
Yeah.
And I told him, I was like, we should do a podcast on this.
And I thought it was a pretty good idea, And
I mean, I'm pretty sure we're not the only ones that have these conversations. And,
right.
If you like it, we can debate some more. You should hear us some days. We debate about a lot of different things.
Oh, yeah. It's more like, she yells, and I say, okay, and...
Oh, that's such a bullcrap lie.
No, she's not like that.
But if he doesn't, you probably will miss his next podcast, because, now he's...
I'm gonna be dead.
Since he didn't let the world know, I'm gonna have to get the mobster and Tony Soprano out.
So, again, I wanna...
Did you know they just sold his booth from the TV show?
Are you serious?
Yeah, you could have bought it. My mom kept messaging me about it.
Why didn't we buy it?
And she said, I was like, Mom, that'd be a good birthday gift. And she said, well, you better tell Ed. And then somebody bought it on eBay. Like the actual booth, where Tony Soprano supposedly gets shot in.
I'm a huge Sopranos fan.
Well, it ended up selling for $82,000.
Oh, because I've got $82,000 just sitting in my back pocket, right?
It's sold on eBay.
Oh, yeah, because, no, I'm poor, okay? No.
I guess I don't get to go to Bora Bora now.
No. But anyways, I want to apologize to anybody that I may have upset with my comments about God. It's not... Again, I love God. I am a very huge Christian, and I will be judged on my judgment day. But if you guys enjoyed this podcast, leave me a comment on Spotify. Or go to paranormalincohio.com.
Go to paranormalinc.com and follow him.
Okay, you said it all wrong. Paranormalincohio.com.
Oh, paranormalincohio.com.
Look, that's my wife.
I still think it should have just been Paranormal Inc. That was my vote.
I couldn't take it. There was tattoo artists that already took
had
it.
Paranormal Incs.
Because the reason why I'm Paranormal Inc. Ohio is because I love the paranormal. I am covered in tattoos, and I live in Ohio.
Mm-hmm. But I liked Paranormal Inc.
Right. Go to paranormalincohio.com. You can follow us there. You can follow us on TikTok. Go to the YouTube page. Subscribe.
Make sure to heart everything on TikTok. Especially the videos where he's trying to do the lame pickup lines.
Those are hilarious.
They're horrible.
She hates them. But I do them. I do like cheesy pickup lines, and I record it and put it on TikTok.
So cheesy.
Go there. Go to the YouTube page. Subscribe. I'll put some of the podcasts on there. Live podcasts.
Did you see it?
The Did You See It's? Those are on TikTok and now on YouTube. It's like a little show I put together of different ghost videos and ghost clips, and it just says, "Did you see it?" And it drives her crazy because I do them, and you hear it one time. Did you see it? When I'm editing and everything, she hears it about 4,000 times.
Seconds, it is. Did you see it? No, I didn't. Did you see it?
Yeah,
nope.
Exactly.
Still didn't see it.
So go to and again, paranormalincohio.com takes you to our Facebook page. Go there, send me a direct message on there saying, hey, I liked the podcast you did where you and your wife just, rambled on and talked. and give us ideas. Give us stuff to talk about. We'll go ahead. Matter of fact, I already know what our next topic is going to be.
What?
Werewolves.
It's a blankety blank werewolf.
It's a blankety blank werewolf. Yep, I believe in werewolves. I sure do.
Ridiculous.
And she thinks I'm just absolutely insane.
Backcrop crazy. Werewolves.
Yeah. Anyway, so that'll be our next pop-up podcast. You know, we'll talk about werewolves and what I believe and what she believes and everything else like that. But again,
I do not believe in werewolves.
Go to the paranormalincohio.com, our Facebook page. Send me a direct message of ideas to talk about on the pop-up podcast, and we'll do it. There you can go to Paranormal Inc. Ohio as our group. It's our group page. We go in depth into the paranormal, and there's daily stuff that's put on there, discussions, polls, etc., etc. And like I said, if you like cheesy pickup lines, go to Paranormal Inc. Ohio on TikTok. I have cheesy pickup lines to my wife, but then I also have a lot of ghost stories, and I have a lot of haunting things on there and different polls that you can do
and
on there as well.
And repost those if you like them.
Oh yeah, repost them, share them, anything. So check us out on all those platforms, and I hope you guys enjoyed tonight's ramble-thon of me and my wife, and I hope you guys have a great evening, and you will hear from me and possibly her again in the next one.
Bye everyone.
Bye everyone.